the Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.
We both look like we were about to say it.
What
is going on, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Dads. Not always on wrestling, although it's very much definitely a wrestling-centric topic, as is everything in the month of March as we march towards Philadelphia and as we march towards WrestleMania 40. We got to get the little March puns in there. Figured it worked pretty good.
Yes, March puns, all the puns.
And as Josh so eloquently pointed out, no SmackDown spoilers, especially like the one that he posted in the No DQ chat that I had forgotten to mute because they've actually been really good lately, and I forgot to go in there and mute it, but
Oh, Joshua, what are we going to do with you except continue to smack you upside the head verbally and virtually? My goodness gracious. It is a Friday, and we usually go on Fridays now, but it's Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific because we were going to go at 8, but, people in my life decided to be assholes, so we're going now. It is what it is.
We usually go at 2 on Fridays, but there was a situation that arose that prevented that. So then we were going to go at 8 o'clock, and then the PG way to do this is to say there was a situation that arose that prevented that.
Oh, okay, yes.
So here we are, 6 o'clock. Literally got a message 20 minutes ago from Jeff saying, things changed on my end and we can do Dads whenever you want. I was like, how about the top of the hour? That way we're off the air in time for SmackDown, and we can see the things that Josh spoiled for us. So,
Yes. And yes, we're aware the No DQ is allowed spoilers and that JJ messed up. He owned his messing up. He just had to get you in on the gag because that's what we do on a Friday with you. So,
and it wasn't that I checked it. It was that my messenger was open for messaging Jeff. And I saw the first little bit of the tag there for the No DQ chat, which was just enough to have it spoiled.
Well,
as everybody sees in their messenger, whether it's muted or not.
Accurate.
So,
because when you tag everyone, it tags everyone. That's the nature of that thing, which is why I'm pretty sure some of the chats have that disabled now. So I don't know how to do that. If I knew, I would do it. Anyway.
But we digress.
Yes, we do digress here, just not on Saturdays or Sundays. Okay. As JJ mentioned, we are in WrestleMania season. It is, I can't believe it's a thing, less than 2 weeks before the weekend commences. We are, as we sit here, 15 days from WrestleMania. What the actual hell? Where did this first quarter of the year go, first of all?
2 weeks from tonight will be the Hall of Fame ceremony.
Yeah. It is madness.
That we will be covering across the multiverse of media.
We will. The plugs will be in there once the director gets his shit together here. But anyway, we decided that, as we always do, wrestling-centric episodes of Dads during the month of March, as you very well put it, the March to WrestleMania, the March to the biggest weekend in the year of the business. Our first show is going to be very WrestleMania themed. This may be the most WrestleMania themed show we've done that doesn't involve matches or actual people, because as we get closer to WrestleMania, there tends to be that one song or two, sometimes three, if the WWE really gets a wild hair up its ass.
Yeah, you know what? Since you brought that up, let me just say, I miss the days where there was one song for WrestleMania.
Yes.
I legitimately had to listen to 66 songs for 40 years of WrestleMania to come up with this list that we are doing today. The top 10 WrestleMania pay-per-view themes of all time. Now, just for clarification, we're not talking about superstar entrance themes.
Negatory.
We are talking about the theme song to WrestleMania.
Yes. Or the hot angle or match.
Right.
In some cases.
And we really had to rack our brains a little bit because we wanted to come up with a WrestleMania-centric topic to march into WrestleMania. And we didn't know what to do. And so one day I just came up with a couple things. I was like, what if we did these? And it immediately got the Meacham stamp of approval.
Yep.
And so we got to go with it, you know?
Yes. Yes.
We've got today the top 10 WrestleMania pay-per-view theme songs of all time.
Yes.
And then in 2 weeks, the top 10 women's championship matches in WrestleMania history.
Yes. And
not
again,
just women's matches in general, because there's more than enough that we were able to separate it.
Quite so. Which was surprising,
Women's
to be honest.
Title matches.
Yeah. And for clarification there, that's not just the singles championship, because the women's tag titles, however shitty they're booked, do get contested at WrestleMania as well.
Yes. And Josh, just goes to show how little you ever watch Dads. We've done top 10 WrestleMania entrances. So go back in the archives, good sir. I want to say it was either last year or the year before.
So what you're trying to it's not in here. Do your homework, bro. Yeah, it's not in here. We're not in the open mic night.
It's in the open mic night one.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll get in tomorrow. Tomorrow. God, sorry, tomorrow. Jesus Christ. So usually what we do with the Dads episodes, when we have the actual ranking, not like last show where we just talked about Sting for the whole show, because how could we not talk about Sting for the whole show after that, right? But what we are going to do today is do the honorable mentions first.
Yes.
And the reason we're doing that is because the first two songs that are honorable mentions were in the original top 10 that we compiled. But
as a matter of fact, one of them was number one.
One of them was number one. It was. And I requested to have the executive decision be made that, can we just talk about these two songs as separate entities, separate animals, however you want to phrase it, because I'm of the opinion that these songs encapsulate so much of our childhood and our early fandom of wrestling and WrestleMania that they should be mentioned separately from, because if I'm being real, those two songs will always be my two favorite WrestleMania themes, and they are the WrestleMania themes at the end of the day. The first one, of course, the Grand Spectacle, the one that debuted, I believe, for WrestleMania 6 was the first time they used it. I first heard it in 1991 for WrestleMania 7. It was also used at 8.
I think it was for 6, 7, and 8.
I believe it was. It didn't make it to 9 officially because the other one was started at 9. Kind of, sort of. It really came into being for 10, but we'll count it for 9. But 6, 7, 8, the Grand Spectacle, the one that I've used for our WrestleMania trailers, the remix of, thanks you to our buddy Rose Scythe on YouTube. Yes. It's literally the Grand Spectacle. It sounds like a giant epic theme song for WrestleMania, which, Jim Johnston be the effing man, brother. And it felt different. It hit harder than the SummerSlam theme, the Royal Rumble theme, the Survivor Series theme, because it was WrestleMania. And it needed to be different than, more special than, because whether it was 1985 or 2024, WrestleMania is WrestleMania. And that song
it's the
playing,
Super Bowl of pro wrestling.
it is. And, it's, when you heard that song, you would always hear Gorilla Monsoon, welcome to whatever city we're in. Welcome to whatever stadium we're in. Welcome to whatever theme that year is. Welcome to WrestleMania, whatever number it is.
Yeah.
Standard, dude. You could set your watch to that shit when you start the show. And you knew it's like, all right, here we go. We've been waiting a year for this. Or, if you watch since Rumble, we've been waiting 3 months for this, however the case may be. Right. But you knew you were going to get the grand night.
Absolutely.
And that WrestleMania theme for me encapsulated my early fandom. Started watching before Survivor Series 1990. So, again, caught it on 91. Whereas you have the, as mentioned in the chat, the theme that would become Linda McMahon's theme. Yes. Because when you were watching, I find it funny that your first WrestleMania that you actively had in your fandom was the first WrestleMania that had a different than song as its main theme. Of course, WrestleMania 15, the Rage Party, the Rage theme or whatever, but this song still right there in the field.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as you pointed out, it was really used from 10 through 14. So it really kind of kicked off the Attitude Era of WrestleMania. And then, of course, as Josh pointed out, it morphed into Linda McMahon's theme song. So whenever you would hear that song hit the speakers, dude, Linda McMahon was coming. Like, that was a moment to pop right there.
It's like, well, mom's here. Now shit's on for real.
Yeah, for real, for real.
Yeah.
It's like pissing off dad, one thing. But if Mama Bear's got to come in, Mama Bear ain't there every week, you about to get got. You about to get gutted like a tauntaun on the ice planet of Hoth.
And that's universal, by the way, across the board. You mess with Mama, you just hold a level.
Yeah, and honestly, that was my original number one.
Right.
Because it's the one I grew up with. Again, even though 15 had already changed to themes, the fact that going back, doing my homework, my research, 10, 12, 13, and 14 were ones that I watched like a lot. 11, not so much.
Right.
But 10 because of Bret Owen, 12 because of the Iron Man match, 13 because of Bret and Austin, 14 pretty much top to bottom the show.
Right. No, for real.
That song was everywhere. And then Linda using it, like that was just embedded in my soul.
It is. It really
does.
Whereas
the one that defined your childhood, I think I originally had like either number 5 or 6. But as Jeff stated, he made the request that we take those out and just discuss them on their own. So the 10 that actually made the list are going to be legitimate songs by popular artists. And we're going to kick things off strong.
Oh, yeah.
As it was the theme song for the WrestleMania where The Miz defeated John Cena in the middle of the ring, clean, no outside interference whatsoever. Written in the stars from WrestleMania 27.
Good grief. What a pitch.
Hey, you know what?
I will say this before you expunge on the theme.
It's like the story of Randy Orton walking down to the ring in his god-awful peach tights, finding the World Heavyweight title in the ring, climbing the turnbuckle, and posing with it.
Right.
It's the same shtick.
It's not the same shit. That poor championship had to journey from freaking New York City all the way to Toronto, Canada. It had to cross an international border. That's some scary ass shit if you're a freaking championship belt and you don't know where it's been or what it's been doing. All right.
And you got to worry about deranged Mounties. Right. And Canadians having hockey fights, eh?
Right. God, you freaking go through Ontario, you might have to go through Quebec and get screwed once or twice along the way. That's not okay for that poor belt.
No.
We cannot diminish the journey that belt had to take.
Yep.
Goodness gracious.
And yes, Josh, this is only at number 10.
It surprised me too for a different reason, but go ahead.
You have to keep in mind, this was originally number 12.
Right.
Because
Exactly.
the other two generic themes were in the top 10 and had to get removed. So that just goes to show how good we feel this list is, because
Yes.
full transparency, I listened to all 66 songs. I ranked
He did.
all 66 songs.
All the way.
Me and Jeff had a production meeting last night. I was like, this is what I came up for the top 10. He was like, I can't argue this.
Yeah, no. Yeah. It was.
I can't even find a reason to try to say that this song should get in there over one of those. This is a solid list. So while I may have been the one to put this list together because I'm the music guy,
quite so.
Very much Jeff Meacham approved here. It would be Snapboy approved, but he's off in Tennessee doing something somewhere. So, but
Snapboy's working. God bless it.
Written in the Stars, and especially as it ties to WrestleMania, like I thought it was just a perfect theme song. It's got a great beat, it's got a great melody, and the lyrics are just on point.
Yes, absolutely.
And then you think about what was going on at Mania 27, and again, The Miz, the champion that nobody thought would be champion back then.
Yep.
And not only is he the WWE champion, he's defending against John Cena in the main event. Super Cena does not lose big match John.
Nope.
And he beats him.
Yes.
Now, whether there were shenanigans or not,
okay,
irrelevant.
All right.
Y'all know that I know what really happened, but it's just one of those things that I like to try to do to get the ha-ha.
It's the ha-ha. Yes, exactly.
Yes, Rocky got involved, cost Cena the match to start off that feud that once in a lifetime, but it did such good money, we'll do it twice instead.
Yep. Again, it's,
if you're going to bring that negativity in the chat room, Mansfield, you will get timed out.
That's right. And you know what? It's WrestleMania season. He's a member of the board of directors. I ain't messing with him.
Exactly.
I'm not digging the hole from. I've already had enough of conversation with other people in the hierarchy of my own board today. So
you are lucky I do not have a Zoa nearby. I would crack it open right now just as a. There you go. Mix it with some Terramana.
All right. Anyway, empty can. I don't give a shit. Just funnier. The gag was there. Now, the reason.
Do you have anything to add to Written in the Stars?
I do.
Okay.
Because I'm sure you remember. The people that dwelled will remember. The people that were around for the early days will remember. But that was the first WrestleMania after myself, the boy, and the other person became part of the Casa family.
Yes.
So that particular WrestleMania and that song are special to me on that level. It does. The song hits. It is a great song. It's one of the few wrestling related songs that, because it was such a good song, I could get the other party in my life that helped create the wonderful child to listen to. And it like the whole concept was bopping it the whole season. Like, Jesus Christ, we were all rocking that song for a month because it just kicked all the ass. It was a great song. Much in contrast to with the WrestleMania that Dylan was born, and we couldn't make Hey-O by the Chili Peppers stop fast enough. Holy shit. I like the song, for the record, but 45 times a week between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, I'm kind of good at that point. Kind of good.
All right.
Now, Number 9. Let me get the list back in front of me so I can actually hit the graphic right because they're not uploaded in order. There we go. I got it. Number 9. Number 9.
Number nine.
Number 9 is a. I think it applies more to Josh's comment. Applies more to this WrestleMania than what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Man, this song kicks ass. The band kicks ass. But man, was WrestleMania 26 a shit show at the end of the day. Other than the main event, which I maybe not equaled its predecessor in terms of quality, but still was a damn good show, a damn good match. WrestleMania 26 was thunderstruck with disaster, I felt like, across the board. The WWE Championship match was what it was. Brett and Vince, which should have never happened, was what it was. But AC/DC and Thunderstruck, man, you can very rarely go wrong with a hard-hitting theme and AC/DC for wrestling and not have it be on any top 10 list.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not sure why it got as low in the 10 as it did, except for the fact that the other 8 songs are just so much better.
Yep.
And what you have to keep in mind, Mansfield, is I wasn't just listening to them in, oh, is it a good song or not?
Right.
But I was trying to go back and remember how it helped to define the WrestleMania.
Right. Exactly.
And that's the key, is that Thunderstruck was a song that I loved prior to WrestleMania, because I want to say that was on the AC/DC The Razor's Edge album that came out in like 90 or 91.
Yes, that sounds
so
correct.
It was like already embedded in my high school years while Jeff was still like a baby.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, so, but where did it fall as far as setting the mood for WrestleMania?
Right.
And I think that's why I put it at the lower end of the top 10. So just something to keep in mind going forward.
And that's valid. That's a perfectly valid reason. I again, I don't feel you can go wrong with AC/DC, and I think the room will agree with that. But there are
War Machine.
Well, okay,
that was the lowest ranked out of all the AC/DC songs.
Okay, well, that's also valid. Again, it's like anything in life. Not every song's going to be a winner. Not every comparison or connection is going to be the best. And we're having a phone call because I can't be allowed to do my thing here.
Yeah, just for the record, War Machine ranked in at number 26.
So it's still 26 out of 66, y'all. So
yeah, but it was the weaker of their offerings, in my opinion.
Yes. And War Machine, I believe, was for WrestleMania 29, WrestleMania 25.
25.
Again, one match show. Otherwise, it's weak sauce.
Yeah.
I mean, and matter of fact, I think War Machine was the theme for the WWE Championship match, which got neutered like a goddamn newborn dog. Like, it was awful. So yeah, that's not going to get a whole lot of love from this room.
No.
Number 8 on the other hand, sir.
Yeah, number 8 is another one, goes back to the 80s. So it gets a lot of love from me on GP. But
yes,
the way they tied it into WrestleMania
yeah,
really worked wonders. And that is Peter Gabriel's Big Time.
They made it the theme of the show itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's called WrestleMania 22, Big Time. And don't get no stronger branding than that from the WWE.
Nope.
And it fit.
And this was where we made the transition to doing outdoor arena shows full time.
Yep. The year after this, it was stadiums or bust.
So it was perfect to kind of jumpstart that.
Yes, sir. And I feel like Peter Gabriel, again, Peter Gabriel is one of those artists that, like you said, very much encapsulates the 80s. He's an 80s guy. It's like throwing out a Huey Lewis song. Up 80s. That's what it is. But this song, you think about the matches at this WrestleMania. The triple threat for the world title, which was solid and does not get enough love because of the story that got us there, which was a little rough. Yeah. The WWE Championship match was supposed to be a different challenger, ended up being, I would argue, one of John's, if not John's, best WWE Championship match at WrestleMania against Shawn Michaels. The Vince, stark contrast. The Vince Street fight with Shawn Michaels. No, wait, I'm sorry. 2022. 22 is Vince. It was John and Hunter. I apologize. My bad. Botch on me. Sorry. I'm thinking 23. 22 was, I think for me, the first time that John really got the, we know you're the babyface champion, but we're going to take you out anyway from the crowd. And it's Chicago. It's going to happen.
Of course.
But
I mean, it was CM Punk in a WrestleMania main event. Like, he needs to stop.
Yeah. Yes. Now, granted, he was also riding on the side of a gangster car, and part of
CM Punk was a part of a WrestleMania main event.
I will not stand for this continued retroactive commentary. I refuse, by God. I love the Miz, but God damn it, let's be real. And I love John, and I tolerate Punk now more than I used to, but let's be real. But you had that match, which combined with the Shawn Michaels Vince McMahon street fight put us on the path to a big DX reunion, which was just, for us Attitude Era fans, we're like, I can has tomorrow on Raw, please. And no, we had to wait till fucking June. They suck.
Long.
Oh, I know.
Term.
Yes.
Storytelling. Slow build.
Yeah.
Not
to be fair.
No build. No build is every Wednesday on TBS and TNT.
Also,
stop me when I'm telling lies.
I can't. I can't. They also had to turn Hunter babyface, which was going to be like pulling teeth anyway.
Yeah,
because he was such a hated son of a bitch at that point. So it's like, okay, what do we do here? How long do we need to do it? Because we got to get DX back, but it worked. But those three matches, and you had Undertaker plus Money in the Bank, which was won by our buddy Rob Van Dam, which was cool. Led to the return of ECW, which for the first 3 weeks was wonderful, and except for the zombie on the first show, and that's where we knew we were going from there. But this theme, man, like you said, a theme has to represent the show it's branded for. WrestleMania has always been big time. And I think this one really was. And Ty makes a good point too, Foley and Edge, which was unnecessarily good.
Yes.
I totally said on your number 8. I apologize. I know you were doing names. I was doing nothing. I realized I did that. I'm like, oh shit. So,
it's all good. I'll go ahead and take this one then. Number 7.
Yeah.
Number 7 is a song that's near and dear to my heart because the fact that it was never officially released. So we're able to use it for our watch along trailers.
Thank you, Fred.
Yeah. And it's Crack Addict from Limp Bizkit.
Yes. Yes. Oh, Lord.
I mean, the WWE's favorite band, as Howard Finkel called them.
Twice on the show. Yay, Chimmel. Thank you for that, Tony. We know, but it's a lie.
No, it was Chimmel. I thought it was Finkel. My bad.
No, I think Howard actually missed that WrestleMania, if I remember right. I don't remember hearing his voice that night, but it was definitely Chimmel because I hear it. It's like, oh, Tony, like, dude, who fed you that line?
I mean, considering the fact that they allowed the Undertaker to use Roland for all that time,
that's fair.
That would be a good reason for them to be referred to as the WWE's favorite band. plus Crack Addict, plus Build a Bridge was a pay-per-view song. Like they got a lot of love from Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, I just think I would have loved it more if they'd allowed Roland to keep going after that Mania and not have that "You've done it" now that you just adore so much.
I mean, we can go on about the other Limp Bizkit songs, but Crack Addict is a criminally underrated song.
No, it is.
Because of the fact that it was never officially released.
Yep.
Now, if you go on YouTube, you can find it in its entirety, download it, watch it, listen to it, whatever you want to do. It's got some great lyrics to it. You see the title Crack Addict and you immediately think about being a druggie.
Mm-hmm.
But then he gets to the punchline and he's like, I'm addicted to cracking skulls when punks start static.
Yep.
It's like, so it's not about doing drugs. It's about beating some ass.
Which is great too.
Mm-hmm. And WrestleMania 19, man, we were there. We were just entering the Ruthless Aggression era.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that was a perfect song to help usher in the first Ruthless Aggression WrestleMania.
Yes.
Because John Cena in that moment with Angle was June or July of 2002, which a lot of people say that kickstarted the Ruthless Aggression era.
I would agree with
this
that.
was the first Mania of that era, and that was a perfect song to usher that in.
I still think about that Mania, the fact that John was booked for that rap battle, didn't make the show because nobody else RSVP'd, so they threw him out on Heat, and he just fucking roasted him to a crisp. It was delightful to watch.
Complete with Dr. Evil and Mini-Me cutouts with their faces on it. Supposed to battle rap Fabulous and Jay-Z. Jay-Z apparently no-showed, and according to what Cena said in the battle, we don't know if it was true or not, Fabulous showed up, heard him in rehearsals, and bounced.
Damn. I didn't know that part. That crazy.
Was part of his lines.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
But, it was so good. And that performance helped make Cena what Cena became.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was already doing the freestyle thing, but he was never on an undercard after that.
Nope.
Not really. I mean, yeah, he jerked the curtain at 20, but he won a fucking championship.
I would,
it's hard to call that an undercard match,
Yeah. I think at this point, the undercard matches or the matches that, whatever, however you want to phrase it, are the ones on the kickoff show.
Yeah.
And even then,
back in those days, Sunday Night Heat.
Yes, Sunday Night Heat, or hell, we can go back to the free for all. Remember the free for all?
Right.
The WWF tag titles were won in a tournament final by the freaking Body Donnas on the free for all. So the hottest act in the company, not named Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart, is managing her team to the World Tag Team titles, and they got the motherfuckers on the free for all. Like, what in the hell is wrong with that shit? Oh my god. Anyway, let's see where we're at here. Ooh, okay. I like this one too, but I will throw the graphic up in a second here. Where it's in here. I'll find it. Maybe. Front row. Oh, there it is. No, that's a different one. Okay, well, I'll talk about it while I find it because apparently they didn't make it in here for whatever reason. So this one, I have a couple of different connections to. Number one, I became a fan of Saliva because of WWE. Of
course.
Wasn't it? I mean, that was pretty much par for the course for me, period. But I never really we'll hear from Saliva later, or hear about Saliva songs later, but I never really connected with any of the songs they used for them at WrestleMania more than I did Ladies and Gentlemen. I don't know where the hell it went, so I can't find it. But Ladies and Gentlemen from WrestleMania 23,
yes,
I used because I was emceeing at Rocky Horror. That was it that weekend? I forget when. It was sometime that year. And I thought, okay, well, I love this intro. I love the way it hits. So what I did was I used the preamble, or however they phrase it, of Final Countdown, and came out to that. But before Final Countdown started, the pre-show, as they were letting everybody into the theater, was Ladies and Gentlemen. And man, you talk about welcoming people to a show. This was the WrestleMania that had The Undertaker, fresh off a Royal Rumble, winning the World Heavyweight Championship. This is the John Cena, Shawn Michaels match. So again, my apologies from before. Then you had the spectacle, the legitimate spectacle. There it is. It wasn't there. I just didn't see it because it was blended in. Of Trump and McMahon backing their representatives in the hair versus hair match, which
Bobby Lashley and Umanga.
Yes, Umanga. God bless Lord Regal. Yes, and God bless Lord Regal for that. And possibly the best example of, wow, that stipulation aged like milk, considering the participants. Yeah. But the song
we can't retroactively condemn.
No.
That was amazing in the moment.
Yes, the moment of it was just absolutely next level. And
We will never die.
That was a good one too. The memory.
I just was going to look up where that made it on my list.
Yeah. So
49.
Yeah, and I mean, again, another good song, but does it tie bets to WrestleMania compared to the other ones? No, it doesn't. That's the key for this list, kids. But it's a great song. I love it, but it's just, not high on the WrestleMania themes list. This one brought us into the show. It had probably the most eyes on a WrestleMania since 21 because of being Hollywood and the Hall of Fame with Hogan and Stallone being there. 22, while having a great theme, was just kind of there WrestleMania wise. But 23 had Donald Trump involved, had all the celebrities wondering who was going to get their head shaved, had an unbelievable, way undervalued by the company itself, World Heavyweight Championship match. So much that it was middle of the card. Like, matter of fact, WrestleMania 22 and 23 and 24 all had their Royal Rumble winners in the championship matches not last. And I would argue those WrestleMania championship matches, again, Michaels and Cena was great, but I feel the moment of Undertaker with the big gold and that pose at the end would have been a better way to end the show.
Yeah.
22, as great as it was match-wise, the crowd shitting on Cena in Chicago versus Rey Mysterio, ending the night as world champion, the big story with Eddie, which my personal feelings aside for it, it's a beautiful story.
Yeah.
The only reason I'll argue for 24 ending the right way is because Dad and I were there when Undertaker was in the last match. So yeah, I can't argue with that one for personal reasons.
I still personally feel Shawn and Flair should have been the main event of 24.
Granted.
If it was granted, we know what we know now, but if it was going to be Flair's last match, his final match should have been the main event. Granted, he unretired a few times after that, but going into it believing that to be the end should have been a main event for him.
Yes. And it's one of those, it was such a star-studded show. You almost had to have a movie marquee or big presentation type song. And ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Welcome to the show. That's pretty
it's got a big fight feel to it.
It does. Thank you. I took the words weren't happening.
And you could use it in just about any form of entertainment. You could use it to start off a rock concert. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if that was Saliva's first song of their set every night, because it's a
Yes.
perfect song to welcome people to the show.
Yeah.
You could use it for a baseball game or a football game, the World Series kickoff. Ladies and gentlemen, boom, do you want it?
Yep.
Boom, do you need it? Let me hear it, ladies and gentlemen. The Super Bowl.
Yep.
The NBA Finals, the Stanley Cup. Like, it can transcend all genres of events. You could imagine hearing that at a circus before the show kicks off.
Yes.
The spectacle you're about to see, the jugglers, the acrobats, the lion tamer, the clowns,
That's exactly why it felt so appropriate for me to use emceeing a stage show.
Yeah.
It just worked. It worked, and yes, it worked for a very underrated WrestleMania. I thought it was a damn good Mania, and I think the song kind of gets lost in the sauce, as LA Knight would say, because of the controversy surrounding the show itself. But I think the song was perfectly chosen by whoever makes those decisions.
Coming in at number 5 was a song that wasn't just a great WrestleMania theme.
Oh, no.
But it also ties into more personal history, going back to our days at Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, as it was the first theme song that Kevin Steen used as his entrance theme.
And the irony of the location of this WrestleMania is also awesome that Kevin used it.
But Drowning Pool's Tear Away for the next slot here, the number 5 position.
Crazy.
A lot of people hear Drowning Pool and they automatically just think let the bodies hit the floor.
Yeah.
They had so many other good songs off of that album.
Yeah.
The title track Sinner. You had Bodies, of course. You had this. I want to say those were tracks 1 through 3, just boom, boom, boom.
That sounds right.
Like they were just a force to be reckoned with. I remember they used a bunch of those songs for the Jet Li movie, The One. Specifically Sinner, and I want to say this one also. I don't think they used Bodies for that one, but they might have. But yeah, Tear Away, criminally underrated song from what could be arguably the final Attitude Era WrestleMania.
Yeah, no, that's
if we consider 19 the kickoff of the Ruthless Aggression Manias, then 18 is the end of the Attitude Era. Rock Hogan, Austin Hall, Trips and Booker, right?
Jericho.
Booker was my bad.
Booker was 19, which was even worse. 17, Booker was not in the Skybox, but just not there.
But just some great matches.
Yep.
And a theme song that's really not talked about because, again, Bodies pretty much overshadows everything.
Yeah. Sinner, by the way, was for Vengeance 2001, the Undisputed Championship, which was so... That video they did before that series of matches started was so good. Oh, so yeah. So Drowning Pool, criminally underrated WWE contributors across the board. Like, at least for my money.
Mm-hmm.
And while that is going to be the endless debate for all time, Ty, and I'm not going to argue with you on that one. If we get into that rabbit hole, we're going to end up going into the Wonderland rabbit hole and be at Disneyland for hours. So, but I do agree. Next one is another one that, man, I still use this now when I'm like going back someplace I haven't been in a minute. It's either this song or Daughtry's I'm Going Home. Because they both, the choruses are just like, so good. But this one, again, should it have been used for 30? Or should the WrestleMania 30 have been where 29 was? Yeah, probably. Or at least in the area. But they didn't. They went with what they went with. WrestleMania 29, you're going to have to help me with all the people involved, because I know Diddy's involved. I know Skylar Gray's involved.
The name of the group is Diddy Dirty Money.
Thank you, sir.
Featuring Skylar Gray.
Thank you. Yeah, Dirty Money and Coming Home. Like I said, I've got this whole post ready for May 24th, Jay, in the Disney Fix group, because I ain't been back since they let me go. And damn it, I'm going home to see my show. So I'm definitely coming home.
This is the most recent WrestleMania theme song on the list.
It is. With good reason.
WrestleMania 29. So that tells you something.
Yep.
Everything from 30 to the one they've announced for this year so far, Gasoline, wasn't good enough to crack the top 10. Now, I will say the highest ranked from 30 on came in at number 14 on my list.
Okay, so not far. Not far off.
Close, and that was Blinding Lights from WrestleMania 36.
Yes. Which I've heard multiple times, because that's one of the songs the LA Dolls covers. So I've been hearing that quite a bit. Matter of fact, if we get a video of them on karaoke, that's going to be one of the songs I have them do.
But I mean, like, that just goes to show the quality in the quantity.
Yeah. And let's also not glaze over this before you get really deep on Coming Home, because it does need to get in deep on it. Think about the people running the music for WWE after WrestleMania 29, because that was right around the time they dismissed Jim Johnston, and CFOs became involved, because they were heavy at 31. No doubt about that. 30, I'm not 100% sure. I have to go back and do my homework, bro, but I don't know off the top of my head right now. But you figure
I haven't seen Josh in the chat room.
I know. So. It's fine. It's fine. I
think we razzed him too much. He went away. He went bye-bye.
Yes, he is. But you consider the source. Different people picking the choices. Not saying they're not good songs, because there are some damn good songs in the last 10 years of WrestleMania. But do they hit as home
to crack the top 10?
Yes. But again, Coming Home for 2013, it hit home for me on a lot of levels too, because it was actually the year I moved home from the Casa. But WrestleMania came home to New York, New Jersey. It came home to the greater New York area, the metropolitan area, because it was in MetLife Stadium. The one they didn't keep people on the train tracks till now. Great number by Diddy and everybody involved.
And what I love the most about this song is the way each of the verses starts, because he references a song from the past. And the first two songs that he references, Tears of a Clown and The House Is Not a Home, he talks about how much he hates those songs because of the emotions that they evoke.
Yep.
And then the last verse, he talks about Ain't No Stopping Us Now. I love that song because of how motivating it is.
Yep.
And I thought that was a great touch there for Diddy, considering the fact that, if we're being real, Bad Boy had kind of lost its steam in recent years. So it really was a comeback of sorts for the label. Diddy back in the spotlight, a banger of a song that was getting heavy rotation and club play, and it was a return to form for the label. Between that and a gentleman who will show up at the number 2 position, and we'll get there when we get there, really kind of helping to rejuvenate Bad Boy Records.
Yes. I'm an admitted, not a heavy connoisseur of that genre of music, but as far as the primary output from those labels, rap, hip hop, whatever you want to call it, but every song that's on this list that would remotely qualify under that genre, yes, it hits home for me first and foremost because it's a WrestleMania theme song, but I'm able to appreciate the quality of the song as a result of it. And that's what's key for me. As much as it represents the WrestleMania, if it doesn't hit hard in the very non-traditional music guy, we're good to go. That's why Evanescence's debut album just rings true for me. Heard the main track at No Way Out 03, bought the damn CD over that summer when I had the opportunity because it impacted me that much. Music, you and I talked about this privately, maybe even we've talked about it on the air. I don't know, but music is so, for me, it's probably the most important art form or form of expression there is. You can paint a beautiful picture, you can capture a moment on film or still photography, but music reaches into your soul or heart, if it's me, because I have no soul, and just grips you. And if it doesn't grip you like that, it ain't worth a damn to you, and you don't give it any more attention than you think it deserves.
Yeah. You want a beautiful example of that? Look at the main event from Dynamite this week.
Yeah.
Watch Adam's reaction as the crowd is singing Metalingus to him once it stops.
Right.
That moment is everything that you need
Absolutely.
to illustrate your point there.
Yep.
We've gotten used to the crowds singing Judas.
Well, sure.
We've gotten used to the crowds singing Kingdom.
Yep.
That was a first time ever experience, and it was his hometown fans.
Yep.
Singing back to him the song that's been his song for damn near 20 years now.
Yeah.
As he went on to capture we'll call it his first championship because the other one got lost so quickly.
Fair. That's fair.
In the new company.
Yeah. I immediately went back to the moment they were introducing him in Toronto. I don't know if it was at that building or not. I don't know if it was the Air Canada Center then or not, or last night or not, or Wednesday night or not. I'll have to go back and look. But when they're introducing him, he's the heel. He's the son of a bitch who's just put John and his family through the paces. And he's trying not to cry because the crowd is just into it because he's their boy. And Wednesday night was that and more. I have never been more happy for Adam than I was right there in that moment, because it's like, God damn it. Every bad or thought of hesitation of crossing over watched away for that moment, because the WWE crowd never gave that to him ever. And I'm not shitting on the WWE crowd. I'm part of the WWE crowd that loved Adam Copeland, right? But man, that was powerful. And it was the song. It was the music. It was the fact that crowd did not want that song to end yet. By God, they weren't going to let it until it was their time.
It was the fact that he came home.
Yeah, he came home.
To tie it back to coming home.
Yep. And this next one,
yes,
is the only WrestleMania on our list that will have two songs, for the record. And they are back to back, just to give you a little teaser of a spoil, little bitty nugget of information there.
Yes.
But both of the matches that these songs are behind, it's like, how do you not have these on the list? God damn. Number 3.
The Memory Remains by Metallica for WrestleMania 28. 28.
Yeah, 28, the end of an era.
Yeah.
What should have been the end of an era. It didn't end up being that, but it was labeled as such.
No,
dude,
no, because someone had to come back in Saudi Arabia and have that horrid DXBOD match, so
And and then the other one had to wrestle the next year in Jersey and then go to New Orleans and get concussed on the way to the streak ending. So again, stop Punk when he's telling lies. Should have stopped at 20. Love you, Taker, but it should have been a thing. But you and I watched this show together. We were in the apartment.
Mm-hmm.
And this match, I don't think I've ever been more emotional during a match watching at home. And I think you can validate that. I was I don't even know how to freaking phrase it with actual words. When Shawn hits that super kick and Triple H hits that pedigree and that match almost ends, as Shawn is having a complete spaz in the corner, I'm off the couch. I'm having a fit. And again, that match was introduced by the Memory Remains. The Cell itself, this was the Cell's entrance theme. Like, what the fuck? How do you have a theme song for this demonic structure? Because you do. Because you do. It's Hell in a Cell. It's at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
It's in an era.
And Memory Remains is always a funny song to discuss because it comes from an era of Metallica that people either love or loathe.
Yeah, right?
Personally, I love The Memory Remains.
As do I.
But there's a lot of people out there that pretty much hate everything post and Justice for All, including the Black Album. And we won't even talk about what they feel about the post Saint Anger era. But just 90s Metallica, there's a lot of people that crap on it.
Yeah, they do.
And again, including the Black Album, because they say that's the point where they officially sold out. Yeah. So as great as Sandman is, as great as Sad But True, The Unforgiven, people will still shit on those songs because that is where they sold out, apparently. And those diehards, you can't really argue it because you can definitely see a tonal change in the style.
Yes.
Starting with that album.
Yes, absolutely.
But that's also the point where I first discovered Metallica.
Same.
You know, I had a friend who played one for me off of Injustice for All before I really got into the Black Album and everything. So I had heard some of the older stuff.
Right.
But Enter Sandman was my official introduction to them. So I don't hate on the Load, Reload, you know, that whole era of them like other people do.
Yeah. I think us wrestling fans have had the benefit, or maybe it's the burden, if you will, of a lot of wrestling themes and wrestler themes came off that era of Metallica. So we got exposed to it. Oh yeah, this good shit. And it's like, oh, we're not supposed to like this. Oopsie. Like, fuck that. It's an opinion. Mm-hmm. So, and this song, like I said, I loved the build to this. I loved the execution of the match. Looking back on it now, in the moment, I wanted to break the TV and break everything else in the apartment because I was so damn emotional about it. And you know, the end of the streak will always be a point for me that it just sticks in my shit, and it forever will. It forever will, and I can't help that. But I feel like everything after this match was just there. Unfortunately, and the build to it definitely contributed to my feelings about it because the music, the story, the moments, it's just all still very raw 12 years later.
Right. And huge props has to be given to Marianne Faithfull.
Oh yeah.
Who provides the backing vocals on the track.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't know that or they overlook that.
Yes.
Huge credit has to be given to her for helping to craft the way the song sounds.
Yep.
Because her little portion just adds this little eerie touch that when you bring it into Hell in a Cell relevancy, just adds to the danger and the mystique of the cell because her part is so eerie as it is.
Yeah. And you know, if you think about the Undertaker Triple H feud that this, you know, song was made part of, you think about the old school artists that were deeply involved in the music presentation.
Mhm.
Undertaker came out to Johnny Graves, Jesus Christ, freaking turn him into John Morrison, where he's got a name for every occasion. Johnny Catches Ain't No Grave, which was one of the last songs Johnny recorded before his death, and wasn't released until the year before their match, where the Undertaker returned to television with that theme.
Yeah.
Triple H's introduction to that match was For Whom the Bell Tolls by Metallica. So, again, music is so important.
Yes.
And, okay, we're going to get to this one. I'm going to let you talk more about it because I don't like this match at all. Don't like the results,
so do you want to
especially.
just let me handle it then?
I'll give you the big intro, though. I will do you the solid giving you the big intro because it deserves it.
Because you've given the intro for the last few, so I guess I'll give the big intro for the final one then.
Well, because the number one song deserves, like, we should both be giving that one a big intro. But anyway, this next one, again, I will disagree with it happening in the first place. I will disagree with the result, but the story. And when you think about it, this song was done live by the artists, as was the introduction for the opponent. So I like the song. It's a great contribution, a great piece of the puzzle of the main event of WrestleMania 28, Invincible from MGK, for what was supposed to be once in a lifetime, The Rock and John Cena.
Yes. Going back to Diddy Dirty Money, Machine Gun Kelly, MGK really helped bring Bad Boy back to prominence.
Yep.
After having fallen off for as long as they had. And this song, The Right Person Won, Get Over It.
Don't want it.
I know you know no wanna.
I don't want it. Can't make me.
But you have to. The Right Person won the match.
Based on the way to play it.
Because it sent Cena on that year-long spiral.
Yes.
That allowed him to redefine himself, evolve himself, and then come back and reclaim his throne. Quite literally by taking the championship off of the most electrifying man in all of entertainment. Granted, he shouldn't have defeated CM Punk for the title at the Rumble. It really should have been Punk Cena, but this match still showed that despite the fact that Rocky had been gone for 8 years, he still had it.
I'll agree to that.
And not only did he still have it, he could get in there with the face of the company and defeat him. To your point that you always point out, the only person to defeat Stone Cold Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan, and John Cena on the biggest stage. And heaven help us if come this time next year,
right,
once the Cody crybabies have been silenced and put out of their misery like old Yeller, and we finally get The Rock versus Roman like we should have had this year, The Rock defeats Roman Reigns at WrestleMania.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
There is The Rock on Mount Rushmore, and there's nobody else.
Yeah.
Because I will tell you, Roman Reigns may be at 1,300 days.
Oh my God.
175 away from surpassing Hulk Hogan at this point.
Oh, dear God.
We are literally under 200 days. We are that close.
Oh, my red and yellow is showing and it's bleeding. Oh, God. Oh, God.
And if you watched my Inside the Mind of the Renegade,
I did. I know.
Friday, September 13th will be the day we pass it.
And there's nothing.
Friday the 13th.
And there's nothing booked in the garden yet.
So but back to my point, Roman Reigns may be the longest championship reign of the modern era. But if he falls to The Rock at Mania, it won't matter for shit.
I'll tell you this now, brother. I'll tell you this now. All the scuttlebutt is WrestleMania is going to be in Minneapolis next year. And then it's going to be in Vegas the following year for 42. If The Rock beats Roman in Minneapolis, we need to go to Vegas sooner and bet on The Rock beating Roman, because if that happens, we're not going to have a Vegas to go to because the Earth's going to get scorched. It's going to be a thing. There will be no Vegas. There will be no anything because The Rock will be incorrigible after that because he beat them all. The Rock could probably use his pull to get a freaking Clomate Bruno just to beat him too, just to beat that guy.
Yep.
And beat up what's left of Bob Backlund, because Backlund's still kicking. God bless that old crazy fool. Mr. H, do not let that happen to Bob Backlund. Protect Bob Backlund at all costs. That's all I'm saying. Don't let it happen, huh? Don't let it happen, Pop H. Oh, all right.
But I mean, back to the song though. Invincible is honestly the only song of MGK's that I find tolerable.
Really? Wow. Okay.
I'm not the biggest fan of his or his style, but there's something about that song that just hits different.
It's fair.
I don't know if it's Esther Dean. I don't know if it's the fact that, you know, he performed it live for John Cena.
That was pretty cool.
I don't know what it is, but there's just something about it that hits different.
Yeah. I will argue for one of his songs before we get to number one, but not lyrically, just the music. Bad Mother. I'll go with Kid Rock.
Okay.
Had I come into the business as an independent personality later than I did, instead of using the old XM theme, which was the Zoo by the Scorpions, I'd have used the instrumental of Bad Motherfucker. It's a great backing track.
There you go.
So, but yeah, the lyrics, first of all, couldn't use them on WWE TV for sure. Even censored. It's like, yeah, no. But they apparently love Uncle Bob as much as they love Limp Bizkit. So, you know, maybe one day.
There you go.
Speaking.
And then we come to number one.
Yes.
And the only artist to have two songs in the top 10, as it is arguably the soundtrack for the greatest WrestleMania hype video package that WWE has ever produced.
Oh my God.
Rock Austin 2, Limp Bizkit, My Way.
Man.
Back when Limp Bizkit was still firing on all cylinders, right around the time that people started to take Fred Durst as a joke.
Yep.
And people really started to shit on Limp Bizkit.
Yeah.
Undeservedly so, in my opinion.
At that point, yeah. Absolutely. At that point, absolutely.
Even today, I still, to this day, do not get the hatred that Fred Durst gets.
I personally don't either, but I'm so disconnected from it compared to hardcore music fans. So I mean, I like their stuff.
I was at Summer Sanitarium 2003.
Oh wow.
Mudvayne, the Deftones, Linkin Park, Metallica, of course, it was their tour, and Limp Bizkit. And Limp Bizkit got booed off the stage.
That's rough, man. Ugh.
And I didn't get it. Like, I wanted to hear them live. I wanted to see them do their thing. I always loved Limp Bizkit.
You figure summer 2003, they had been at WrestleMania that year. So it's like, get experience of Limp Bizkit at 2003. So,
you know,
that sucks, man.
I don't know if it's because as Limp's music progressed, like Fred tried more and more to do rap as opposed to rock.
Maybe.
And people just kind of shat on him for being like this wannabe rapper like Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, maybe.
But there was a point where every single Limp Bizkit dropped was just a banger.
Yeah.
From Nookie to End Together Now with Method Man to Break Stuff to Rollin' to My Way to Rearranged to Take a Look Around from Mission Impossible 2. Like every song that he dropped was a banger.
Yep.
You know, Fred Durst was featured on the original version of Outside by Stained, because they dropped the version from the Family Values album, which was literally just Aaron Lewis, his guitar, and Fred Durst, no band on it yet.
Oh, that's right.
And then the song got re-recorded as like full-on band and was the first single for Break the Cycle, their second album.
Yes.
But like that first version that dropped was just Aaron Lewis, a guitar, and Fred Durst. And
yeah,
again, another hit, another banger for Fred. And
nope.
But the way the lyrics just mold to The Rock and Austin.
Oh God, I know. Oh, like the bridge before the final chorus, man. Just that one gets me the most in that video. And by the way, if you've not yet seen this video after 23 years, no, 17, 20, yeah, 23. You need to get on that. It's on YouTube. You know, there's just no excuse at this point. No. It is the greatest WrestleMania hype video there's ever been. I will die on that hill. I will. And again, going back to great music surrounding a great match and a great WrestleMania. These two guys, Glass Shattered version of Stone Cold's theme. Arguably my preference, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
Disturbed just kicked that song's ass.
Agreed.
The Rock's classic. I mean, God, the Rock's theme hasn't changed except the flow of the tune from 1996. But 2001 Rock, man, hard to argue that was peak Rock. You know, the semi-main Triple H with Motorhead. Yes, I understand Lem had a bad night. The song is still good. Shut the hell up, people.
I don't think I've seen a live performance where Lemmy hasn't fucked the song up. I don't know if it's because he's too drunk by the time he hits the stage or what, but every time I've seen him perform that song live, it's been a fucked up version of it.
I think you got the worst of the two live in person, which sucks. Like 21 was pretty rough too. At least you had the Triple H thing with those.
I remember
that was. But and the Undertaker came out again, Limp Bizkit. So those two last matches, man, just the music was just as big as part of it as anything else. But man, it was about doing things my way. Austin had been forced to step away against his will because of the neck injury. The Rock and Triple H became the WWF in his absence. Austin was coming back to do things his way to get the championship back. The Rock was doing things his way to retain the championship. Mm-hmm. Didn't know that Stone Cold's way meant siding with Vince McMahon. It was what? But
yeah, because when Austin got sidelined with that injury, The Rock picked up that fumble and ran it 500 yards for fucking 25 touchdowns.
Yeah.
I know that was Steiner math. I know that doesn't add up, but you get the point.
No, you're right. But the WWF was arguably never hotter until like right now.
Agreed.
And you had the two biggest stars in the business for the top championship in the business at the biggest show in the business.
Mm-hmm.
And
As
this
it
song,
should be.
yep. And this song got us there.
Yep.
The last thing we heard before they introed this match was this song.
Yep.
That's why it is where it is on this list. It's the hype song for the biggest match of the biggest show. Until we will look back on this WrestleMania retroactively and probably have a discussion between the two, if we're going to be honest, as far as hitting on every point. But until I hear, see, or otherwise, WrestleMania 17 will always be the benchmark. And this song was the introduction for the match that put that show over the top.
Agreed.
And that's why there was no discussion once we decided to use the generic WrestleMania themes as honorable mentions. There was no way any other song but My Way was going to be the number one.
No, none.
Just no friggin' way.
Milk.
Yeah. I mean,
you can argue the heel turn at the end kind of killed it.
Mhm.
But I've heard numerous people that I respect, and even some people that I don't, say that WrestleMania 17 was the heart of the Attitude Era WrestleManias.
Yep.
It is the most Attitude WrestleMania that there was.
Yep.
Top to bottom, start to finish. And again, that one hiccup notwithstanding, it's hard to argue that.
And if you think about it,
because who in their right mind would have ever thought that Austin would join McMahon, especially in the heat of the Attitude Era?
Yeah.
Now, as the company was evolving, if Austin hadn't had to retire in order to stay relevant in the new landscape, maybe could have been something we've seen, come WrestleMania 19, WrestleMania 20, when we're in the Ruthless Aggression era.
Yep.
And Austin has to do something ruthless and aggressive to stay on top with Batista, Cena, Orton, all starting to make their legacies, pun intended, especially kicking off WrestleMania 20.
Yep.
You figure you had Cena win his first championship.
Yep.
You had Orton and Batista in there against Rock and Sock Connection.
Yep.
You had the world's greatest tag team in one of the 2 4-team matches for the Raw and SmackDown tag titles.
Yep.
Like Austin trying to fit into that landscape, and then you figure come 21, Orton's already been champion once. Cena and Batista are getting coronated. I could definitely have seen Austin pull that trigger then to try to stay relevant. But at this point, I think that's why it went over like a fart in church.
And I'll even argue that it fell flat after, the day after. In the moment, it was questions. It was, what the hell? What do we see? What's going on? The stories that followed are what flattened it. If you self-contained WrestleMania 17, chef's kiss. Even the ending, because it was such a what the fuck.
Yeah.
That it left us like, damn, it needs to be 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock already tomorrow night. Like we got to get there. Like speed the time up.
And imagine how what the fuck the audience will be if at the end of night 2, we are acknowledging our tribal chief once more, and the story still hasn't been finished. And especially if Seth betrays Cody to
dear
make
God.
it happen.
Oh, okay. I will say this now. We're still
at
a fledgling.
7:22 p.m.
Yeah.
March 22nd,
Pacific time.
2 weeks before WrestleMania. Yes, go ahead.
On my dad's birthday. Happy birthday, Dad, by the way.
Yes, happy birthday, Frank Meacham.
Yes. We at the Jeff Meacham Network Multiverse of Media are still very much a small business, fledgling company, if you will. We do not have the proper means to ensure our teammates when they're going into a potentially dangerous situation. If somebody can do us a solid and get Walter Cruz and Big G some bubble wrap going to this WrestleMania, if that scenario happens, I'd love the shit out of you guys for that. We need those guys back on the air after WrestleMania. and they will fucking die. They will literally fucking die. It'll be a thing. The whole stadium will just implode on itself because it'll be more shocking than when it happened in front of me. I took a long ass walk out of that stadium, but I had a ride home from Inglewood, so I was a safe boy, and I had shit to do. I had to get on the air and try to justify that shit in front of God and everybody. I fear for Big G and Walter. They're not running the shit. No, they're just part of the cogs of the wheel, man. I'm in fucking trouble if I lose these two guys. And I love these people. I do. So please
And if
WWE.
it happens, just remember, I told you so.
No, I know. No, I don't disbelieve it's going to happen.
I'm not saying it to you.
I know.
I'm saying it to them out there.
That's right. All
Just
you watching.
remember,
Yes.
just like our buddy Gino Rivera, I told you so.
That's right. And it didn't take us 3 hours of talking to get that message across like it did Gino, because Gino gave us 3 hours and he was awesome for that.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to keep the plug short and simple because it's getting close to SmackDown at the top of the hour for us, and I want to just get it quick and dirty. I do want to plug the next time they're going to see us doing this, and then we're going to plug WrestleMania week itself, because that's going to be enough of it in and of itself.
Well, before we do that, don't forget to come back tomorrow night for open mic night.
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. Always do that. Always come back for open mic night.
11 o'clock Eastern.
Yes.
Still don't really know everything we're going to discuss here, but I do know Walter Cruz posted something in our group chat earlier today.
Yes.
And I thought it was a great topic. We talked a couple times here about the WrestleMania 19 being the first Ruthless Aggression era pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
We just talked about how WrestleMania 17 was like the heart of the Attitude Era.
Correct.
What moment kicked off the era that we are currently in?
Ooh, I like that.
It was something he pulled off of Not Sam podcast.
Oh, okay.
Little clip, and they talked about a couple of different things. So that's going to be something we discuss. I think that's a great debatable topic. And keeping in mind that I've only been back watching for a couple of years, it's going to be probably a little bit harder for me, but I've been told stories of stuff that I missed, and I think I have my answer.
Yeah, I think
already.
there's a couple different ways I could go, but I think I've got mine pretty much formulated. Just kind of smooth out the roughness a little bit.
But that's definitely something we're going to talk about.
Yes.
Tomorrow, open mic night again, 8 o'clock Pacific, 11 Eastern. We will also probably be discussing our two newest AEW champions.
Yes.
At least briefly.
Yes.
What else we discuss, who knows, but make sure you tune in for that. Now, go ahead, Mr. Meacha.
I definitely want to hear your thoughts on Okada defeating Eddie Kingston, because I know you're not a big Eddie fan, but who Okada's with is a whole other animal. The next time you will see us in this situation as the dads ranking a list will be WrestleMania Friday, Hall of Fame Friday, Supercard of Honor Friday, as we talk about the greatest championship matches contested between the females of WWE on the grandest stage. So again, every women's championship in the 40 years of WrestleMania is eligible. The original quote unquote championship made notorious by the Fabulous Moolah, which evolved into 2010 ultimately. The Divas Championship, although I'll go ahead and tell you now, because spoiler alert, that title never got a shot at WrestleMania ever once, which tells you everything at the end of the day. Great Divas champions, but yeah.
And I mean, there's quite a few manias where there was nothing, because you figured there was a match at WrestleMania 1 and 2 and then not again until WrestleMania 10.
Yeah.
Or 11, whichever it was that Alundra Blaze defended.
Yeah, it was.
Then there wasn't another one until 15.
Yeah. It was 10, and the challenger was the incumbent champion at WrestleMania 1. That shows you the progress the division had made.
Yeah.
But
so
that's just...
There's quite a few absentee manias
Oh yes.
But once they started rolling and cooking on all
Yeah.
cylinders,
I mean,
there's some good shit there, pal.
If you look, JJ, everything below the first, like the upper third tier, is all in the last 8 years, which again is indicative. It is telling, and that's just one of the shows on that Friday of WrestleMania week.
Yes.
We kick off officially WrestleMania week here on the Multiverse of Media a week from tomorrow. I can't fucking believe it, dude. Oh my God. WrestleMania week kicks off Saturday night, March 30th, with our second annual presentation of Wrestling Theme Karaoke. Yes. There will be more people involved, I understand, this year. There will be more choices on both wheels, as I understand it, this year. And that's just the start of it. Of course, we will have... Oh,
as a matter of fact, let me find it here, and I will share the wheel. That way everybody can see. There it is. Find out where it went there.
Well, we should share. Sharing is caring, after all. Let me try. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to do that. There we go.
So there you go. You can see the wheel as it spins around. We've got AEW, ECW, WWF.
Ooh.
Yes, it says F on purpose.
We're not going to
NXT, deceased superstars are back. WrestleMania theme songs. So some of the ones we discussed here today.
Yes.
WWE. Yes, it says that on purpose.
Yes.
TNA, WCW, independent wrestlers,
Woo-hoo!
and Hall of Fame superstars.
Right on.
WWF and WWE are the way they are because we want to try to separate the eras.
I love it. I love it. You know what's scary? The WWE era of the WWE, I believe, is now officially longer than the WWF era. Because think about it, 1970. If not, it's super close. Because it'll be 20. It's been 22 years this year in May. Mm-hmm. The WWF era was 1979 until 2002. So little shy still.
Yeah.
Actually a decade shy, but even still, think about the impact the company has had on pop culture spanning these 22 years compared to the little microcosm it had during the golden era and then kind of until the Attitude Era.
There's really only about a year difference.
Yeah. That's crazy, right?
79, you go 89, 99.
Yep.
2000, 2001, 2002. So 23 years. And this is 22 for E.
Is that not crazy that we grew up and we were around and fans like, I'll never call it WWE, always be the WWF, and it's gonna be the same length of time. That shit is bananas to me.
BANANAS.
I'm sorry. It's a wrestling show. That shit is banana to me.
There you go.
That'll drive me nuts thinking about that. Now, love you, Pat.
But you want to know what else is going to drive us nuts?
This shit right here.
Right here.
This shit right here. That's right. We're going to die just in this week alone. We will, of course, have Noah, JJ, and the team simply predicting possibly 2 WrestleMania prediction shows, depending on how much they stack this card, as well as simply predicting Ring of Honor, the morning of Supercard of Honor in 2 weeks on Friday, April 5th, along with our coverage of the WWE Hall of Fame that night. But before we get to the Hall of Fame, Josh Barnett and Bloodsport will be part of the GCW show in Philadelphia on Dylan's birthday, my boy. Thursday, early afternoon on the West Coast, 4 p.m. on the East Coast on April 4th. And once we get Supercard of Honor over, JJ, WWE just kind of takes over. Hall of Fame, Stand and Deliver, WrestleMania, Raw After Mania. Again, we've covered these shows, or at least the majority of them, the last couple years.
Yes.
But it really feels like the entirety of the industry is just stacked.
Yeah.
It is, and it's wonderful for companies like TNA Wrestling and New Japan Pro Wrestling that they don't necessarily have to contribute to Multiverse United this year. TNA is at the 2300 tonight and tomorrow in Philadelphia. New Japan's going to be in Tokyo, I believe, the week of WrestleMania for Sakura Genesis, and they're going to be at Windy City Riot the week after WrestleMania. So every company on the planet is just cooking with gas. Yeah, you can talk to me about AEW and their business being what it is, and that's fine. You can talk about the fact that Marshall is not aware that we are live. We are live, Marshall, baby. We are live and live in color. So please send the super chat.
Aren't we always live when we do dads?
Dads, to be fair, Dads is not usually at this time slot, so he may not have been sure we were live. So
that's fair. That's fair.
It's a valid question. But yes, we are live. Super chat. It's not quite as simple as that because it's almost time to go to SmackDown. But
share anyway, the wealth.
Yes. There are two. This one, and then there's this one, and they're both active, and they're the only two YouTubes that are actually active right now on today's show because that's how we always do it. Oh, I got my Twitter output fixed. I'm so happy. So we're on the socials too, but I have long considered this coming time of the year another Christmas, like a early Christmas. I dare say it's getting better with all these shows coming up, man, because there's something to watch. You know, we kind of give Noah a mild amount of shit for all the wrestling he watches. There's going to be content on throughout the multiverse, at least one channel every day, starting Monday morning with this guy and his weekend recap.
Yep.
We will not go dark across the entirety of the multiverse, and even then we might not until the 14th of April. Yeah. That's crazy. Absolutely. 3 weeks solid of just, we got you, guys. We got you, wrestling fans. We got you. Don't be sorry for the interruption, brother. Knowledge is power.
Yes.
I promise you on that. So we invite everybody to tune in all throughout the multiverse of media, all throughout the next 3.5 weeks. Yes, we are going to be live with Open Mic Night tomorrow. Yes, we will be probably dark on Sunday, but from then on, man, if you ain't tuned into my channel, the Custody Teen Studios, the Simple Man's Brand, the Jay Hebert side, hell, No DQ's got shit going on almost as many days in a row as we do. Yep. Get on your wrestling fix. There's no excuse not to get your wrestling fix, kids. And I'm here for it, man, because I'm still a fan. It's difficult to be a fan a lot of the times. And, you know, the last 18 months or so has been rough based on the behind the scenes bullshit. But when it comes to WrestleMania and WrestleMania season, there is no better time to be a fan, brother.
Absolutely.
You were going to say something and had your hand up, and I kind of kept going because I was in a groove and I didn't want to lose my train of thought because my brain is what it is. He got the sneezies, kids. Give him a moment, please. God bless you.
What I was going to say is, and it's something we say every year around this time, and we don't say it to be assholes, but it's the absolute truth. If you cannot find something that you enjoy from April 1st through April 8th, turn in your wrestling fandom card.
Right. Yep. No, I agree.
Because between Ring of Honor, GCW, NXT, WWE, not to mention regular scheduled shows for AEW and TNA, not to mention Stardom, which we're not covering.
I was going to say, we'll give them
Sakura Genesis, like you pointed out, which we're not covering.
Yep.
But if you cannot find anything over those 8 days, just turn in your fandom card.
No, that's valid. That's valid.
Because those of you out there that can find something to enjoy with all that content over those 8 days.
Yep.
Number one, you don't deserve to call yourself fans. And number two, you ruin it for the rest of us.
That's right. Damn it. I will say this. Even if you're one of them tribalistic folks, and you know what? I'm not going to piss you off today. God bless you. You guys believe what you believe. Whatever.
But even if you're tribalistic, you have found something during those days that you can enjoy.
What I was going to say was, if you get to WrestleMania week and you're still put off, you've only got a few days till AEW's double shot on TNT with Battle of the Belts and Collision. If you're still
covering here across the multiverse of media,
if you're still not satisfied, okay, wait another week and get our coverage of Rebellion and Dynasty. And if you can't find one match on Dynasty, Danielson Ospreay alike, then you can go fuck yourself. Saying that out loud on purpose and with intent, goddammit, because that's going to be the best thing I think of the whole month. But then, if you still, after all of that, can't get those feels for the YouTube content or for wrestling content or wrestling related YouTube content, we got Match Game at the end of the month on a Saturday. So damn it all, you will find something. We are convinced you will find something. And if you don't, just remember, if you arrive at these shows and you come and don't get your satisfaction, you can always try again next week. It's really that simple. Please, if you do come, clean up after yourself and then super chat. Because damn it, we need the money.
Like the APA, we need beer money.
Well, no, the last thing I need around here is any more beer because money. I sipped that one beer with a straw last week, and I felt every bit of the barley hit me. After we signed up, I was like, oofa, it's time to go memes before I go, beer bad. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I know we kind of went on at a wonky-ass time, so thank you guys. Enjoy SmackDown if you're on the West Coast or if you've DVR'd it watching us. And if you have, God bless you, because SmackDown's supposed to be good tonight. So,
yes.
Thank you all for watching.
I was told that Walter cried, and I will probably cry too. So we'll just leave it at that.
Really? Oh man! If they're getting you and him to both cry, I may be a blubbering idiot, which is not hard for me. But so I appreciate everybody coming in. If you don't super chat, you know what? I ain't got no money either. It's valid. It is what it is. As long as you're contributing in a positive way in the chat room and you're not being if you're actually reading the tickers and acknowledging that you're not going to get overly acknowledged in the chat room if you're not super chatting and you come back anyway and put up with our grumpy asses, cool. We love you fuckers too at the end of the day.
Pretty much.
So thank you guys. Thank you guys for putting up with our grumpy 40-year-old asses because Lord knows we put up with just as much when we're not on camera. He is the right-hand man, if you will. The Renegade JJ Williams, Renegade of Wrestling JJ Williams in the multiverse of media. He is, especially when it comes to music and movies and media, he is the wise man of the multiverse of media. As I had a great plan for the tribal chief gimmick, but the shirt's not in sight, so I can't use it. However, we encourage you, everybody, to tune into SmackDown if you haven't already. Acknowledge your tribal chief. Acknowledge the greatest number 2 of all time, Cody Rhodes. That's what Roman called him this morning, so I'm going with it. Fuck it. Thank you all for watching the Dads. Not always on wrestling this week. We'll be back in this format in 2 weeks, but we're on starting Monday every day of the week. If you don't see us, it's because your computer's broken. Yeah. Have a wonderful night, everybody. We will see you next time and all throughout WrestleMania season right here across the multiverse of media.
The Jeff Meacham Network's Multiverse of Media. For over 15 years, the recognized symbol of excellence and the standard bearer in coverage of sports and entertainment.